Welcome, Aries, to your in-depth weekly astrology overview and Zodiac forecast for week commencing the 15th of June for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. Going to share the big themes of the week ahead first. It's a crackerjack. On screen is your event chart for Monday. I'll unpack that. I'll then go through each of the influences in detail. By the end of the forecast, you'll have a clearer picture, Aries, of what's upcoming in terms of your energy, work, relationships, or finances. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. So it's a week which begins with a new moon in Gemini. Gemini energy is bright and vivacious, and for the first time in 77 years, Uranus, the planet of freedom, is in residence on a new moon, but it is clashing in a T-square with the nodal axis. So it can be quite a complex new moon. I'll share more about that. But Venus, the planet of relating, has moved into a delicious part of your chart and forges some equally delicious connections as this week goes on. That could be very exciting, especially for your love life. But what we do have towards the end of the week is Chiron moving out of your sign for a brief 3-month visit into Taurus. I'll share more about that. And then the cosmic curtain comes down on the week with the solstice. The summer solstice in the north, the winter in the south, but from an astrological viewpoint, it ushers in cardinal quadrant 2, and the sun's move into the feeling sign of Cancer. So on the screen is your event chart, Aries, and there is the new moon beginning to shape up in Gemini. But the moon isn't that comfortable in Gemini. It's known as being in Peregrine. So it's a sign which is very much to do with quick, fast communication, not so much about being in touch with feelings, which is what the moon's about. And because Uranus is also in the mix, clashing with the nodal axis across your 12th and 6th houses, I think it's important with that new moon, but however much it can encourage us to share our ideas and be very vivacious in our interactions with people, that we do stay in touch with what the message is we're really conveying. And also, as far as our welfare is concerned, the amount of engagement all of us have these days in terms of information suggests that at times we can get a bit overwhelmed. And because the nodes are in the part of your chart to do with your physical well-being, Virgo, and emotional well-being, Pisces, I think it's just a cautionary note through to the 26th of July when the nodes switch, just to get a good balance between not doing too much screen time, giving yourself some moments of complete peace and tranquility, but also being mindful of your physical needs too. But it is a week when Mars, your ruling planet, is in a great link with Mercury. So you can see they start the week in a sextile, and that does continue this week. So if there is a plan you've got that's important to you, and it might be to do with some home changes, perhaps catching up on those do-it-yourself tasks, the chances are you can push forwards with them at speed. But Venus forges a beautiful link pretty well from the start of the week with Uranus, and then comes into a great link with Neptune. And that just encourages you when it comes to your social situation or romantic interactions, just to keep things fresh. By the end of the week, however, by Friday, Chiron is moving out of your sign and into Taurus. It's going to be there through to the 18th of September, asking you to become more mindful of your personal value, how you feel about your sense of worth, and also not be too dominated by the financial dimension. However, when we have the sun moving on Sunday into Cancer, it does link back very well to the position of Chiron. So getting a nice balance over the following 3 months of the second cardinal quadrant will help you to work on feeling more at ease in your home environment, but more at ease with the values you possess as a person. So to summarize, it's a week that starts off with a lot of vivacious bubbliness, but it's all about communicating with purpose and being in touch with that more feeling dimension. But socially or even romantically, I think there can be some extra sparkle, but you can still get some practical things done too. By the end of the week, however, the focus does change more to home, family, and more nurturing strands. I'm going to summarize those four areas of energy, work, relationships, and finances next, Aries. But just to say, I've slashed the price of my personal horoscope reports. For many years, it was buy two, get 30% off. Now it's buy one and get three. So three for the price of one. The one you pay for is your life roadmap report, the most important document any of us will ever read. It helps us to engage with the different components within our personalities, but getting more intimately aware of how they all interact can help us to make better decisions future forwards. And the free charts are your 12 months transit, totally unique to you, but also your draconic soul karmic analysis, which helps us to look at astrology, life, and ourselves in a very different way. If you've yet to watch your Jupiter No More Blocks deep dive video, that's on the screen, your Chiron 50-year cycle video on the screen. If you'd like to work with me directly, be an absolute pleasure. I work with people the world over. Please see my testimonials below. If you've yet to take advantage of my free daily written horoscope, find your device each morning for your early day celestial pit stop, please see that below too as well. So to summarize, with that very tense T-square between Uranus and the nodal axis on that new moon, the T-square between them actually peaked on the 12th of June last week, but it is going to be in operation through to the 26th of July. Getting a good balance between how you're using your mind, how you're consuming information, but how you're being in touch with your emotional and physical needs, and not seeing any of them get too much of a dominance is going to be one of the important things around your energy, not just this week, but through to the end of July. So if you are feeling a bit stressed out or overwhelmed, take action to try to realign. When it comes to your professional situation, your ability as a communicator undoubtedly is sharpened by the new moon. And because your ruler Mars is in a very powerful link to the planet of communication, I think you can come across with authority this week. As far as your finances are concerned, well, having Mars in the second house is something to cherish. But Venus, the planet of finance, is actually in a brilliant link with Uranus in that chatty third house. So it may be for your personality power as much as your brilliant ideas that you can draw extra finance in your direction. But it is going to be the opposition between Venus and Pluto, which reaches a peak on Friday, which is so intriguing around your love life. If you are being drawn to someone at the moment that you're finding very compelling, one of the things with that aspect is that people can lay the charm on with a trowel. So if you are finding someone in your group situation very hard to resist, with Uranus in the mix, things could happen very quickly. But if you're looking for true love, it's the link between Venus and Neptune that's really important. So if you are drawn to someone, but it's much more of a sexual connection, I think just try to work out or divine what maybe your motivations are or the other person. But if you're linking to someone where you really feel aligned, this could be a very special week indeed. Now, if you're in a long-term relationship, I think most of all, you need to make time for one another, but also try to do things a little bit more spontaneously. It's been a real pleasure being with you, Aries. Have a great week. All the best and goodbye for now.